Admit. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're just going to give it a few minutes for folks to get in. Let me monitor this waiting room. Thank you so much for your patience tonight. Oh, I love all of the babies. Hello, my loves. Oh, goodness gracious. Hi, Andrew. Hello, sweetheart. I see Clementine and Satchel. Hello. Hello, hello. If you figured out, we'll talk a little bit about Zoom and some of these features. Hello. Oh, you're already using the chat. I love it. Let's see. I've got one person stuck in the waiting room. Let's see if I can message. All right. Oh, we got a full house tonight. Got about 55 or so of us joining. Someone's like, I know how to work Zoom really well. We've got a lot of practice over the last couple of months. I see some of our staff is on. Hi, Miss Ugarte and Miss Radosi. Good evening.
Yeah, I see Dr. right there.
Good evening, good evening. I'm just scrolling the pages, seeing if everybody's having some trouble logging in. Please make sure that you use the chat function. I want to just give a bit of a welcome in a moment. Elias, is that you, my love? Hello, nice haircut, baby. I love it. Let's see. Oh, I love it. I see some of our kinder parents from last night. Hola. Hello, hello, hello. We had a good time last night. Last night we had our kinder meeting just for our kinder families to kind of orient them around what this year will look like, just to kind of quell any apprehensions or fears that they have. And we tonight are going to offer a Spanish presentation directly after this meeting at around 7:30. So I'm going to try to keep you within an hour. This is going to be a jam-packed session full of yummy, yummy, delicious information. I'm not going to be able to answer every single question, but we're going to use that chat feature, and then we're going to use the tools that we have at our disposal so that I can be able to communicate with you post this event. So if I need to send out some emails, or if I can use my newsletter that I'll be sending out once a week, that I can begin to answer some questions. We might even be able to use social media to be able to answer some questions, do some polls, interact, finding the silver lining. Thank you so much for the reminder to record. I am recording tonight. I appreciate that. One of my parents sent me a note and said, don't forget to record tonight. It is super important that we have an opportunity for our parents to be able to rewatch or be able to watch it at a later time if they're unable to join us tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. So for those of you who do not know, I am Principal Nicole Watson. I am your proud leader this year. I'm super excited. I have been, building the boat while I'm driving it at the same time. It has been an intense journey, but it has been really, really fun getting to know some of you, meeting you on the parade, spending time with you via email and phone, and just, dealing with some of your questions and your apprehensions. It's natural. We all have a ton of expectation around what this year will look like, or anticipation about what this year will look like. And so I am hoping to avail myself tonight to answer many of those questions. I see some love happening to our teachers in the chat. Miss Ugarte is pretty slamming. She all right. I think she's pretty cool. But I think that speaks to what the climate is like at Prescott. We are filled with a staff that loves you all endlessly, who has been working tirelessly for you, even throughout their summer, coming in on their time off, volunteering their hours, getting our building ready for COVID so that when we're in hybrid distance learning, our building is ready, working on our master schedule, sitting on our leadership team, interviewing new staff. They have been around the clock, and it has been an incredible opportunity to work alongside them in preparing for tonight and getting ready for the beginning of the year. So I have a bit of a kind of a welcome I wanted to give, but really I wanted to orient us on what Zoom is, just so that those of us who are not familiar, that you actually know how this function works, because Zoom will be one of the primary platforms that our babies will use this year in their comprehensive distance learning. So this is Zoom, everyone. We are getting a chance to review it and experience it as our babies and our students will. So right now, tonight, I am recording. This recording means that it won't record what's in the chat, but it will record our actual interactions tonight, so that when we post this on our website and our social media pages, parents and families can go back and rewatch. There is a mute function. So I have muted you all on entry. That just means not that I want to silence you, but sometimes when we're getting that audio connected, it takes a second and you might be yelling at the kids in the background and you might be rustling papers. That sounds really intense when there's 61 folks on one Zoom. So we just wanted to make sure that we muted you when you came in, but you have the ability to unmute yourselves. So just monitor that feature. Our wonderful new secretary, Liz Garcia, is with us tonight. Liz, will you wave? She's been working with me in the front office since about August, early August or so. She's gonna help facilitate. So what you're gonna see me do is I'm gonna make her a co-host, and you'll see something pop up on your screen that says that I've made her the co-host. That means that she'll have some privileges to be able to help monitor some of the background information, the chat, the muting, and the waiting room should it become an issue. So make sure that you pay attention to your mute. If you start talking, pay attention to the way we're interacting. If we're looking like we can't hear you, you've got to come off mute. You'll just click that mute button. Your cameras can be on or off. We're not going to police your behavior. Sometimes you got stuff going on in the background and you just need to be able to hear. And you'll be able to see us, but we won't be able to see you. And that's just a video function that's in the lower left-hand corner of your computer screen or on your phone. There's a bunch of buttons that you can click and it can help you take your video on or off. We also have a raise hand and a lower hand feature. That's a little bit more techie tech. Some of our students know. I know Elias could give us a nice tutorial on how to raise our hand or lower our hand, but that is over in the participant section. If you click participant, there'll be a couple of rows of options that you can find to raise your hand. We won't necessarily use that tonight. Tonight, I'll just present to you. Before I start, I will introduce those, give a space for our staff to introduce themselves if they're here tonight. But you won't necessarily need the raise your hand or lower your hand function, but it is there. Tonight, we'll add some time at the end for you to be able to ask some questions, more roundtable, more popcorn style. Do I have any other features that I think I want to let you know about? There are some reactions. So if you hear something that you like and you want to give it a round of applause, if you look at my screen, there is a nice brown emoji up there with a round of applause. Look at that. Some of our babies I see. Is that Ada? Oh, and I see Amanda has found it. There's a nice thumbs up if you like. You can change the color or the hue of your reactions in your meeting settings. You can play around with that. So if, without further ado, we've got our mute function, we got our cameras, we know our reactions, we've got our chat, and we can go ahead and get started. Staff, if you are with us tonight, would you mind unmuting yourselves and introducing yourselves to our parent group and what you teach and or facilitate?
I'll start. Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Radosi. I am the Title I Reading Specialist at Prescott. It is exciting to see all of you here tonight. I can't wait to get started.
Thank you, Kim. Let's see, who else do we have?
Hi there. I am Miss Ugarte, and I am one of the 4th grade teachers. There are 2 of us. And I'm really excited to start seeing the kids again and interacting. And you're going to love Miss Watson.
I hope so. Oh, I love Miss. Look at Miss Ugarte. She's got her hand raised. Just practicing great classroom etiquette. I love it. Absolutely. We might not have any other staff on. Some are traveling and making their way back home, getting ready for returning to work virtually on August 31st. So just Monday, and we'll all be together again. All right, so I'm going to take us back to our gallery view so I can see all of your beautiful faces. And let's go ahead and launch in. So for tonight, what I was hoping to go over is to talk a little bit about our distance learning schedule. And I'm going to follow pretty closely the newsletter that I just sent out. If you're wondering, ooh, Principal Watson, what newsletter are you referring to? I will drop it in the chat. But I'm going to be working with the newsletter, and I'll explain a little bit more about how you keep in touch. We'll definitely still do Remind. We'll definitely still do all of our synergies and all of our different platforms, but I'm going to add in a newsletter so that I can communicate with you a little bit more in my personality with links and gifts and all the funny things. I'm going to mute Miss Ugarte, if that's okay. Okay, just to make sure. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about daily schedule so that you know where our babies, our kiddos are going to be every school day. I've got a little list up here. We're going to talk about special releases on Wednesdays. So we're still going to have our early release, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I want to tell you a little bit about the curriculum, what you can expect our babies to be engaging in every single day with their teachers. Let's talk a little bit about our new platforms and our tools that are at our disposal and how we're going to engage in comprehensive distance learning. I want to give you just a brief reminder about registration. So if you've not registered yet, there's still time. But if you want to update your registration so that we have all of your contact information, our website is the best way to do that. Ms. Garcia and I will drop all of those links into the chat. I want to tell you a little bit about how to request technology. If your kiddo needs a Chromebook or a Wi-Fi hotspot, there is a way for us to use a Google form to request technology. And we're going to be having a technology/supplies drive on September 9th. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Speaking of September 9th, I'd love to tell you some important dates to put on your calendar so that you'll know what's coming. We're going to give some space to our parent group, our PFCA group, which I believe stands for Parents, Families, and Community Association. I believe we've got one of the chairs on the call tonight to be able to orient us on how our parents organize and how you can get involved with that really incredible group. I will explain a little bit about our after school care. We've got Sun. And then we also have the wonderful Miss Sierra from Champions, who's also here this evening to explain a little bit about our after school care, child care program for Champions. I also want to give you some information about how to stay in touch. How will you hear from me? How to get a hold of me or to get a hold of Miss Garcia in our front office. And then finally, answer some of your questions for tonight. Can I get a thumbs up or a reaction if you're still with me and we're still vibing and you're not asleep just yet? Okay, I see some thumbs up. I'm gonna disable the waiting room so that anybody can come into the meeting. But I will monitor, and Miss Garcia will monitor, that if we have any inappropriate guests that pop up that shouldn't be here, she has that co-host feature where she can remove them right away. All right. So let's talk a little bit. I want to share my screen with you just so that you can see our distance learning schedule. And this is in, I'm just in a Google document, and I will drop the link in the chat. Give me just a second though. Let me share my screen, not that screen, that screen. All right, so here's another cool feature of Zoom where we get to share our screens and be able to have like a different experience with showing what's on your computer and talking at the same time. So our school day will begin for kiddos at 9 a.m. But our teachers will have a 90-minute planning and prep time from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. So somewhere in there between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, teachers will be available to answer some questions, but they're available to you as you make appointment, right? So if there's a better time that would work for you and your family to be able to meet with your teacher, you are more than welcome and encouraged to reach out to your teacher to schedule some time. But the time they're the most available throughout the day will be between 7:30 and 9 o'clock. And then of course, after the school day ends. So school at Prescott and in Park Rose will start on September 14th. And the school day will begin at 9 a.m. And from 9 a.m. to noon is what we're gonna call our synchronous learning. And if you know anything about education, we love our new hot, shiny button, shiny words, right? So our new words are synchronous and asynchronous. All that means is live teaching versus on-demand teaching. So live teaching, our core content will happen between the hours of 9 and 12. So at that time, every single day, you can expect your kiddo to be learning their reading, their math, and their writing. They will also have time with Mrs. Langston, our music teacher, as she will be popping in every day, once a week, once a week throughout the week in every single classroom, at least spending 20 to 30 minutes engaging in some type of movement or some type of musical activity to break up some of that monotonous kind of screen time a little bit. And as you know, we are really trying to think about ways of being creative and engaging our learners so that it's not just them glued to this screen the entire time. So we're really gonna work as a staff when we come back in the office the 31st to figure out what creative ways that we can employ to be a little bit more flexible with that 3-hour time block. At noon, the entire district will break. Everybody will go to lunch across Park Rose, and you will be able to stop at any single campus within the Park Rose School District to grab a sack and go lunch. That'll be Monday through Friday. From 1 to 2:30, I know it's gonna be hard, but this is where parents, we're gonna really need your support. We're gonna really need your help because the learning does not stop at noon. Because we break at noon and head to lunch, we really need our babies back in their learning spaces and ready to engage in the afternoon component of their learning. The afternoon component of their learning is what we call asynchronous. That is the on-demand learning. And this time will be a time for them to have small groups with maybe Miss Radosi, to have one-on-one time with Miss Ugarte, to maybe do some musics and some sing-alongs and some choral and choir with Mrs. Langston, to do library checkout with Mrs. Abney. They could be meeting with their speech pathologist or meeting with their SPED resources, or they could be meeting with our counselor, Miss Davis. Any point in that 90-minute block of time, they will be learning. They won't be learning anything new. They will be applying the learning that they learned earlier that day. So as we know with education, it's not just this direct teaching, but there's also the application of it, giving them a chance to practice the skill, giving them a chance to grapple with hard concepts. That has to happen throughout our day. And so what we've decided is to chunk it just a bit to give them time to get their core content, time to break for lunch, and then time to come back and do some application and then meet in small groups with more one-on-one instruction. At 2:30, the school day ends. I put a note down here at the bottom. This whole document is in our newsletter, but I'm gonna also share the document. I'm just gonna show you how we share. Anyone with this link can view the document. I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a moment. I'm gonna come back into the chat, and I'm gonna paste it there. And now everyone has access to that document. You can't change it, but you can view it and you can save it and create it as a bookmark. I know that that's a bit wonky, but I want to be able to model a little bit about what fantastic features we have at our disposal when we engage in learning in this way. So those are going to be the hours of technical operation for our virtual learning. Kids will start at 9 o'clock. They will end at 2:30. You can meet with your teacher from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, or you can meet with them after the 2:30 time ends. They'll be engaged in synchronous learning, that core content 9 to noon. They'll break for lunch from noon to 1, and then they'll have their asynchronous learning, their on-demand application and small group instruction from 1 to 2:30. So to engage during these times, we had to think as a district, right? What was it we experienced in the spring, and how could we be better? How could we engage different? How can we know what we didn't know then, but that we know now? And how do we get to employ that knowledge? And what we did as a district is we kind of put our heads together. We looked at other districts, we did some research across the nation, and we found some platforms and some tools that are going to be different than other districts, or they might be the same. But we're going to try to see what fits for Park Rose and specifically for Prescott as we engage in those blocks of time. So there's going to be a few new platforms that you are not used to that you'll be used to starting September 14th. The first one of those is Clever. Clever is going to be our portal where all of our platforms exist. So kiddos are going to get a badge. It's going to look something similar like this, and it'll have a clip, and it'll have a black lanyard that we've just ordered, and we're going to begin stuffing those at the beginning of next week. They'll get a badge, and they can scan that badge across their camera. Very snazzy business. And that badge will take them to Clever, their own portal, and log them into every single application. So their iReady Math, their iReady Reading, their NG Connect, their Seesaw, absolutely everything that you need will be in one location using the Clever app. It's very clever, is how we're going to remember that. Very clever to put all things in one spot. I love it. It's like Tupperware. Woo! Those of you who love Tupperware, feel my vibes. So Clever will be a new platform, but it will be where everything is located for our kiddos. If they do not have their badge, if the dog eats it, because dogs eat things, you won't fret. You'll be able to use their standard email and their student ID. It'll just take us a little bit longer. But you will be able to access your platforms on Clever with one single login. And once you're logged in for the day, you are logged in. You don't have to worry about swiping, although I think our kiddos would love to swipe. I see your questions in the chat. I promise I'm going to circle back to the questions. We also have Seesaw. Yep, that's right. Like the playground equipment, Seesaw, that incredible game where one person's up, the other person's down. So Seesaw is the way I've been equating it as I've been playing with it, it's kind of like our Facebook page for each classroom. It's one kind of hub within the cloud where everybody's work and assignments will be posted. Kiddos can interact with their teachers, they can talk, teachers can post assignments, they can have discussions, they can respond in real time. So if, let's say, Elias posts something on the Seesaw, I could respond and I could give a video and say, wonderful job, Elias. That's really, really great. Think about this next time. So it allows our teachers to be able to cut short their giving feedback. It allows them to be able to touch multiple students in multiple ways without the kiddo needing to be right there in front of them. So as the apps are interacting and as the students are interacting with their Seesaw or with their different assignments, the teachers in their planning hours can go through and respond, and then the kiddo will get a notification and be able to interact with their teacher that way. I'm looking, you're right. It is a lot of information. Let's take a beat then. Let's take a moment because I know it is a ton and I know it is a lot. And I will answer some of the questions in the chat. How about that? Is that all right? Okay, Elias is in here privately chatting with me. I cannot with you, sweetheart. You are adorable. There is a lot going on in here. So let's see. Okay. Oh, I love it. We've got some folks who are new to the area and who will be in 4th grade. See a lot of hellos and we miss yous. I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Ugarte, for commenting in the chat. Giving some more love to Miss Ugarte. I see what y'all, okay. I'm gonna have to tell the other teachers they need to come in here and get some love. This looks like a great space for love languages. Our 2nd grade teachers. Oh, this is a good question. Alicia asked a great question about who are the 2nd grade teachers. For our 2nd grade team, we have Miss Jacobson and we have Miss Brown. Now, I know we love Miss Ugarte and Miss Radosi, and they are thebomb.com. But I also think Miss Jacobson and Miss Brown are also thebomb.com. Thebomb.com too. They are pretty awesome. They couldn't make it tonight. I know for sure Miss Brown, we had one of our members, family members has passed away, and Miss Brown has been working on our meal train and getting some flowers and some condolences to our staff member. As I said, I have been welcomed in. It feels like family, and so I get to watch in real time us love on each other and heal each other the best way that we can. So in this time, what we're seeing is we're just going to need a little bit of grace. We're going to need a lot of grace with one another, a lot of patience with one another. But those are your 2 second grade teachers. And parents, you will know who your teacher is the first week of September. Our teachers are coming back on the 31st, and they will be making personal phone calls home or sending home a newsletter, but they are excited to make it fun. They're building their virtual classrooms and using Bitmojis and downloading TikTok and all the things so that we can have and create a robust experience for our babies. And we want to be hip and fresh. We don't want to be left behind. It is absolutely imperative that you take us with you. So we are definitely working behind the scenes, but we want to make sure that we've got all of the kiddos registered, all of them enrolled into Synergy, all of the class lists ready. And so because this is my first year, I also would rather not be speedy. I'd rather be efficient. So I am taking my time, slowing down just a bit where I can so that we can dot those I's and cross those T's and get you some information that's 100% or 90% as accurate as I can get it. So great question, Alicia. That information is more to come. Oh, thank you so much, Ms. Garcia. Ms. Garcia has placed the newsletter that I sent out earlier last week in the chat. We had like 202 people view that newsletter. So it's showing me diagnostically or analytically that is a great way for me to get information to you, our families, and our parents. I will make sure that I loop in the technology form so that I have your email so that I make sure that I can send that to you. That's a good question. So Julia asked a question, what if you work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and have no childcare? Will he be able to complete his schoolwork in the evening? Julia, absolutely. So as you see me tonight, we are recording. We are recording because we recognize that this is a new normal and we're going to take some time to adjust. We're also going to recognize that right now we're in a state of unrest in our nation and unrest in our city. And we're going to take the time to recognize that many of our families are living in what we call the margins, meaning our basic needs are not being met. And it is absolutely paramount and important that we give each other the grace to understand that our experiences are not monolithic, meaning that each of us is going to need something different. So you are absolutely right. If your kiddo is unable to be online from 9 to 12, don't fret. Your classroom teachers will be recording their direct instruction and posting that to their Seesaw page. They would use their one single login for Clever to access those platforms, and they'll be able to get to all of the work for that day when they can. And then if we're communicating with our teachers and we're telling them what our extreme circumstances are, if you know anything about Prescott, you know we will bend over backwards to meet you where you are. You know that you are not alone. And you know that absolutely many hands make light work. There are neighbors, there are friends, there are parent groups, there are folks who can help you build a bridge and cover some of those open wounds or those open gaps so that each of our children are being served the best way that we know how. It's a really great question. As for the childcare piece, that's where Champions and Sun School come into play. And I'll let Ms. Sierra present a little bit later about what Champions offers and how you can participate in that. And then Michelle Braxton Williams is our Sunsite manager. She has a family member that she was taking care of tonight, so I'll provide a little information later on in the presentation about our after-school care program. But Champions will be a really great resource for you, Julia, if you're able to connect with Miss Sierra. Great question. Okay. The form says teachers are available 8:30 to 9. Should it actually say 7:30? Great question. So we are currently in contract negotiation with our teachers union. So if you don't know a little bit about that dynamic, teachers work in a building and are employed by a district, but they have a larger body of collective voices that represent them and speak on their behalf. And that's to make sure that our entities like districts and state legislations and all of the things adhere to a working set of working conditions that are fair and that are reasonable. So we definitely honor our unions. We are definitely in a time where Collective voice and solidarity is necessary. So our teachers are bargaining. So this information will shift. So as you see on the form at one point, probably in that newsletter, the time to reach teachers was originally 8:30 to 9. That was going to be like their office hours. And it still can be. But now that the negotiations with our teachers have actually progressed, instead of making that time mandatory 8:30 to 9, we are just giving 7:30 to 9 is their planning time. How they choose to use that planning time is up to our experts because we trust them, right? We trust our teachers to do what's best on behalf of children. They always have, they always will. So they're going to use that time between 7:30 and 9 o'clock to meet with families if they have that time. And then they can schedule with you and then they can circle back with you another day. So that's where that discrepancy came from. This is just living documents and we're watching change happen in real time. Are iPads compatible with Clever? I do believe they are. The one thing that is not compatible with iPads is the iReady software. I do believe that there's a bit of a glitch with that iReady piece, but let me have Ms. Garcia write that question down and I will double check that answer and make sure that it is in the newsletter and comes out in my correspondence in the next couple of weeks. Ms. Radosi, did you have something? I saw you lean forward. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. iReady does not work on an iPad. That's why we get Chromebooks out to everybody. And Miss Lamb did answer that Clever is compatible with an iPad, but yeah, iReady is not.
Okay. Oh, see, many hands make light work. Thank you, Ms. Radosi. She's right. I love it. That gives you the answer there. So it is compatible with Clever, but it is not compatible with iReady, right? iReady, which is why we need to give out those Chromebooks. And I'll give you a link for those Chromebooks in a moment. All right. So I've made it back down to Renee's comment where this is definitely a lot of information. So now I'm going to go back. I hope that was a good enough break. I apologize, but I also want to honor our Spanish-speaking families. And we're going to meet with them at 7:30 this evening to give the exact same presentation because we are leaning into racial equity at Prescott by making sure that all of our families have what they need in the language that they need. And so I want to make sure I keep us moving, but I also want to respect that screen time because this is a bit of a crunch. That newsletter that I sent out definitely goes into detail about all of this. So if this is an overload for you, feel free to make sure and look at that newsletter to get all of this information in print form. Our platforms, let me go back to our platform. So I talked a little bit about Zoom. I've told you a little bit about Clever, and I told you a little bit about Seesaw. The only other platform that you'll hear about but you won't really see is Screencastify. And that is so that your teachers can make snazzy videos and edit them in one app. It's kind of like TikTok for teachers, when you think about it. It really is. They'll be able to have their screen up, share their screen, manipulate their screen, and Screencastify will let them do all of that. Not in a cool way like TikTok, but in a non-cool way. But it will be cool for you because you'll be able to see it on your screen and interact in a way that you haven't before. Those are our new comprehensive distance learning tools. Our teachers will be getting trained on those beginning 8/31. The district is providing a really intense training module facilitated for them to walk through and be able to be experts on many of these platforms because they really are a low lift. They're really intuitive and folks have really developed something that I think will really be some great tools for us to use. All right, let's talk about contact information and registration. So if you are a new parent, registration is going to be absolutely important. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to our website, and I'm going to drop that link right here in the chat. You're going to want to go to our website, and this is going to be for returning parents and new parents. The link that I just posted is the link for us to register. Our registration process at Prescott, for those of you who are returning, know that it is completely online. But it is also online for you to be able to update your information. And updating your information this year is absolutely paramount. We are gonna be unable to use mail. We're gonna be unable to hand out documents in kiddos' backpacks like we would the normal first couple of weeks of school. So we have got to use our technology. So having your current information in Synergy is paramount. You should also like our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is a really great way for you to stay up on information. Ms. Garcia and I are posting things there all the time. Our wonderful Meet the Principal parade We posted all of those pictures there. We're going to post flyers about technology pickups and school supplies, different all virtual school assemblies, because we're going to have some fun this year, y'all. We're going to flatten the edges and color outside the lines. Since we're going ham, we might as well go all the way, right? So we want to be able to communicate that information to you in real time, and we have technology, so we might as well use it. I just placed our Facebook page in the chat, and believe it or not, we are also on Instagram, and we are also tweeting on Twitter, and our handles for both of those are in the chat as well. If you just hit @Prescott_school, you'll get our Instagram and you'll get our Twitter. And I love using social media to be able to boast about our babies, boast about our parents, boast about our teachers, because we might stunt on them a little bit. We might need to flex a little bit. That's how we can do that, is on social media. All the pictures that we took from our Meet the Principal parade are there. Please feel free to tag yourselves, download, save, share, make it your profile pic, anything that you want or need to do. Will returning parents get an activation key for starting a Parent View account? I do not recall ever signing up for this. Let's talk about this, Monet, on the back end. I need to schedule some time with you anyway. I think I sent an email. So let's connect, because I want to make sure. That's not a question I can answer right away, but that's an easy fix to be able to answer. In order to make sure that I have up-to-date and accurate information, I recognize that the registration process is there, but I also feel that there's another way to kind of catch parents who may not head to that registration link, and that's where this 2020 parent contact form came into play. So our parent contact form, which I put in our newsletter, is a way for you, one, to update some contact information, but two, it is the way that you request technology. If your kiddo needs a Chromebook or they need a Wi-Fi hotspot, this is the form in order to be able to let Prescott know that that is something that you need. Because I don't work at Google, and everybody in the state is requesting Chromebooks, and everybody in the nation is requesting Chromebooks, I bet you can understand what problem we're probably going to run into. I'm trying to see that ahead of time and say, if I know early what our babies need, then I can maybe try to throw some elbows across the district and secure enough technology for all of us. But the resources are going to be limited. So here is the form for you to be able to update your contact information and request technology. From that form, we will make sure that your phone number is in our Remind app. So at Prescott, and in Park Rose, we use Remind. It's a text messaging app where you'll get a message if we have food pantry, you'll get a message if we have an upcoming event, and it'll come right to your mobile device. But we need your number there. We can input those numbers manually. So while you're re-registering or making sure that your information is updated in Parent View, you also can use this form so that we get real live information, and I don't have to go to the district to get it. I can just get it from there. I hope that makes sense. I see some more questions in the chat. I'm going to get right back to them because we've got about 15 to 20 minutes, and I want to hear from some of you. At this time, I'm going to let Miss Sequoia, the chair of our parent group, introduce herself and give some information about how to get involved in the parent group and how to stay in communication with their wonderful efforts and how they support Prescott.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Good. Welcome everybody. My name is Sequoia Branson, and I am half of our chair of our parent group this year. My colleague Erin Bray Marsh couldn't make it this evening, but she says hello, and I'm here to just give you a real quick 411 about who we are. Our official name, as I put in the chat, is what to search us for. We often go by PFCA, and that is a shortened version of the Prescott Family Community Association. And I know it's a mouthful, but we are a nonprofit parent group arm. Excuse me 1 minute, Savannah. Please stop. Can't hear yourself. The fundraising and student enriching parent group arm of Prescott. And we meet once a month on the first Monday of every month. And if you're adding items to your calendar right now, in September and January, it's an off month because of when we start school. So the first meeting that you can join us at next is September 21st at 6 o'clock. I know, right? It's a fabulous opportunity to see Miss Watson in person. She comes to give a principal check-in. We have teacher representatives, Miss Hayward and Miss Jacobson this year. They attend every meeting. There are some real traditional roles that our parent group has played in the past, and we are reimagining who we are and what we do this year in light of distant learning, but also in light of we're all working really hard to look through an equity lens. We're working really hard to make sure that our group shows the diversification of our school and of our community. So please take a moment to like our Facebook page. We do a lot of connection, support, and communication, and that's our one avenue right now. But I want to let you know, for folks who aren't on Facebook, we applaud you. But we do use the school's Remind system and other communication as it becomes familiar to us, to let you know about meetings and to let you know about events that we might do. We really would love to celebrate people's talents. So I call out Monet. I understand you're on, Monet, because as a parent, I have to say that she's so creative. She's so talented artistically. And for anybody who's driven by our Prescott playground and seen the Be the Eye and Kind mural that's on our playground wall right there, that was Monet's dream and handiwork and talent. And she has had something to do with all of our beautiful murals at Prescott. Our parent group has put in the new playground equipment in the past. We've helped with the garden and the playground equipment on the kindergarten side. We have hosted some real traditional events, but we're ready to think outside the box. This year, we'd like to see a readathon instead of maybe potentially a fun run. We would love to support Miss Watson in her dream of bringing bike safety and a bike giveaway take place at our school. So there's opportunities to volunteer, there's opportunities to share your talents, and most of all, to feel like you're not alone. So our children, the schools district is setting up the children for a lot of different platforms and a lot of ways to connect with their fellow students and teachers. But we don't forget about the parents. We're here to enrich our students' lives and help and assist the teachers and the admins. But we are really a support to one another. And whether that means like, you know, help me, I'm drowning, I need some assistance on how this is working for you. How are you encouraging your children to get on iReady? What are some of the incentives you're doing? What are some of the tips and tricks? And we've arranged play dates. We do annual camping trips. So we really would love to embrace you in our parent group, and we would really love to say hello. So please like us and come to our next Zoom meeting on the 21st at 6. And we do have translation services available. We're working on that, so I just want to say more to come on that.
Sequoia, thank you so much. Everybody, use your reaction. Give her a round of applause. You know, there we go.
Right. Your fingers. Any questions too? If I didn't cover anything, you can just put it in the chat and we'll grab it now or later.
You know, and I want to just brag on them a little bit. You know, my start was a bit rocky, right? It was a bit intense. We had some gaps in the staff that we had to fill, and it was an uphill battle. And one of the things that I love about our parent group is they have fed me. They have come to walk my dog. They have offered to exercise him in their backyard. Stella and Savannah have played with Nugget. I have felt so much support. And I think when we talk about schools, we've somehow evolved to where it has become transactional. Many public schools are more transactional. Parent drops kid off, parent picks kid up, parent goes home. What I love about Prescott, the gift of what you all have managed to build on this campus and in this community, is that it does not feel transactional. It feels relational. It feels like you're in good hands. Not in that corny way, but in that way that says, I don't have to have it all together. I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have to be on my best mom game or my best dad game or my best auntie game or nana game. I don't have to have it all perfect. I love that about this community. And as a new principal, it's a lot of pressure to step into. And to have a parent group that has your back, that gives you nice swag and pride gear that you can feel proud to walk through your community in. I live down the street and I live in the community, so I can rock my gear and be proud. And I know that I don't have to dot every I and I don't have to cross every T. It means that I get to show up as my authentic self and I get to lean into my humanity. And that is what family is about. It doesn't mean that we all agree. It doesn't mean that we're going to always do it right or always do it well, but we will always do it together. And that is what I love about that parent group. It's what I love about what Sequoia and Aaron and the other incredible parents are building. It's what I love about Monet, who has reached out and who is offering beautification to our school. And it just speaks to our gifts. Your gifts can make room for you, and there's room for you at Prescott. And so I just wanted to say to Sequoia and to Monet and to her team, thank you so much for what you're offering our family, for growing and evolving the ways that you feel like you need to, so that every single family feels like they have a place where they belong. It's beautiful. At this time, I want to shift and offer some time to Miss Sierra, who offers our champions space. Miss Sierra, can you hear me? We've got some babies that are raising the roof in the background when it comes to champions. I love it. It means you got some fans. I don't know if I see her. There she is.
I'm right here.
Hi, Miss Sierra.
Hi.
You have about 2 minutes. I don't
Okay,
put you on mute.
really quick. I see lots of my champions kiddos on here, and that's always fun. So champions, in a typical school year, has partnered with Park Rose School District to provide an option for after-school care. And so that's what we provided this past school year at Prescott Elementary and Russell Elementary. And so during this trying time, obviously we're trying to keep as many babies safe, but we also understand that there are parents that need to go to work and you need to bring in money and provide for your family. And so we are an option for care all day, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., 5 days a week. And we are operating out of Russell Elementary School. And so right now we are putting together a schedule to provide an environment for the distance learning to happen at our care center at Russell Elementary School. As of right now, the space is limited, but if we see that there's a need, we have room to expand. We've already spoken to the district. They definitely are. And obviously Nicole, she's like, hey, if we need we need the space, we will be at Prescott. But as of right now, we do have space at Russell. And so if you have any questions, I'll go ahead and I'll put our contact information into the chat. And you can reach out to us directly and we can walk through what it looks like for you and your family. There is options for financial assistance because this program does have a cost. And so there is options to apply and see what we can help you with in that aspect. But as of right now, we just, hi Jade, oh I saw, as of right now, we do have availability. And so I know there was a parent that's pointed out, I'm a single mom and I don't have care. You know, what does that look like for my child to get their distance learning done? Well, if you want to call me, then you can give us a call and we can give you some information. I know that safety and health is the #1 goal here. And our kids know that, you know, we are doing the 6 feet apart. They have their own supplies. They do not share with other people. We wash hands more times than we can count. We're sanitizing things more times than I can count. We are wearing masks in the building for everyone's safety. And they have been doing so good. They've rocked it over the summer. And so I'm excited to just continue on our services into the school year and collaborate any way we can and make sure that they're successful and that they're learning. We are a 1 adult to 10 kid ratio. So I can't guarantee one-on-one, sitting down the whole time, the whole 3 hours during their synchronous learning. But 1 to 10, and most of the time it's probably like more like 1 to 6, 1 to 5 kids, like 1 adult to 5 kids most of the time. So we are able to be pretty productive. And then of course we're gonna integrate the asynchronous time and lunchtime into our day. So and then the rest of the time after 2:30, it's all fun. It goes back to Champions. We're our after school program. We do arts and crafts, we do science, we do snack activities. We have fun with it. So,
Activity. I love it.
Yeah, snack activities.
Borrowing that one. I might take that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I love it. Anything you need from me, Champions has my heart. I love it. I love being able to offer our parents robust childcare in the place of them needing to be present. I want to make sure I wrap up just briefly to offer some time for some questions in that chat. Some important dates you need to be aware of, parents and families. September 9th is going to be our Prescott Technology School Supplies Drive. I got a photographer coming. The Panther's gonna be there. We're gonna be in our Pride gear. And you'll be able to drive up. You're not gonna be like Burger King. You can't get it your way. No, not a Burger King, you can't. But you can get a Chromebook and you can get a Wi-Fi hotspot and you can get a backpack with all nice, great things in it because we recognized that and of all of the incredible things that are on your plate, school supplies shopping should not be one of them. So we did it for you. They're gonna get a whiteboard, some dry erase markers. Now you might have to find your own eraser, like a dry sock or something, but other than that, we got you. Paper, pencils, markers, all the cool things you will be able to have in your backpack. And you'll be able to come and pick it up at the school on September 9th. Now, because I trust my excellent experts that are called teachers in our building every day, I did not develop the actual pickup schedule because we cannot mandate that teachers are on campus because I want our educators to be safe too. So I'm gonna get some volunteers from our staff, about 9 of them, since the governor said we cannot gather in groups more than 10. So it'll be 9 of them plus myself. I don't think Panthers count, so maybe we could have the Panther too. And we will roll out the time schedule once I get those volunteers on campus and in our, yes, Elias, you will get some glue in your backpack. You cannot make slime though. And if you do, I'm telling your mom. So I love that we are gonna also be able to provide some school supplies. Miss Michelle is gonna also do a clothing pantry and the food pantry. That's gonna continue. Miss Garcia will send out a remind app every time our food pantry is open. And we have been feeding a ton of families over the summer. It has been an incredible opportunity to do a sing-along and meet some family, bring a reusable bag, get you some goods. There ain't no shame in our game. Everybody could use some chili. Everybody could use some pork and beans. Everybody can use some protein, and we got it for you. Miss Michelle and our son program monitors that, our food pantry, and she has been doing an outstanding job with that. It has been a real huge success every week that she's had it. And it goes really, really fast. So if it's a resource that you need, definitely pay attention to our Remind app. And when it comes out, get yourself to the school so that you can participate in those resources. So September 9th will be our tech drive and our school supplies drive. More information to come about that. Your first school day will be September 14th. And I want to say those were the 2 main important dates because I don't want to give too much of an overload. I just want to give you the dates that you need right this moment. And so those 2 dates are going to be September 9th for the technology drive and then September 14th for our first day of school. And Miss Marika is on our line saying the food pantry is going to be every Friday, starting this Friday, starting at 11 a.m. until the food is gone. All right. Now let's get into this chat. You may feel free to unmute yourselves. What we'll do is we'll take questions and discussion until about 7:10. That will give Miss Garcia and myself and Miss Radosi and Miss Sierra and Miss Ugarte and even Miss Marika to get to our Spanish speaking session so that we can honor, and Miss Sequoia to honor our Spanish speaking families with their presentation in their language. And Ms. Watson even practiced her Spanish a little bit last night. It was, I said like 4 words though, but I felt super proud because I'm learning. And that's what community does, right? We lean in. And even when we're afraid, because I was afraid and I was nervous, I still leaned in and I did it. And I only said a few words, but I said those few words and I feel super proud of myself. So I'm gonna go scroll back up that chat. Thank you, sweetheart. I see the applause, baby. I love it. I'm gonna scroll back up. But if I missed your question or missed your comment in the chat, feel free to unmute yourselves at this time and ask questions. Before we start that, let me just say, this is the first time we have met in this large of a group. There's 66 of us. So we're gonna be respectful of each other, kind of one another. Don't be on, like, this is like a service where if I gotta give you the 1 30-second wrap it up, because I wanna make sure that we give space and time for everyone. So if you're a really vocal parent and you've been present a ton, your front office is waiting for you. You can send us an email, you can call us. Ms. Sequoia is on. She can field a ton of questions with her parent group. So just to make sure that we're giving space for all of the various voices or questions that we might have. So I see Amanda and Jade. Hello. Hi.
Can't wait to meet you in person. So we missed the parade. So bummed about that. We were out of town, but in due time. So we already have a Chromebook from last year. Does it need to be, is there any, because I saw a notification that there was some software updates needing to be done or something. Do I need to bring that in or anything like that?
Great question. Amanda, I'm going to have Ms. Garcia, she's writing that question down. I don't want to tell you no. I think there is a way to manually update from our interface at the district. Our Jason Smith is our incredible magician when it comes to technology. But let me double check. I want to be able to get a hold of you. Do you mind dropping your email or your phone number in the chat? But put your name, because otherwise I won't know it's yours. Thank you.
Sure.
And introduce me to the baby. Who
This is Jade.
My name is Bob.
Hey, Bob. It's nice to
Hi.
meet you, Bob. I'm Principal Watson. I can't wait to meet you, baby. Goodness gracious. Thank you so much for being here tonight, you two.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else have some questions, Ms. Sequoia?
Ms. Watson, I just wanted to say, I have the same question that Jade had. I have a Chromebook. So instead of maybe one off, could you send an update out to everybody?
I could do that.
I also felt like after I picked it up, I needed some tech help on the Chromebook.
Okay.
I needed to take it out of guests. I needed to somehow put it on there so that all of the saved, sites that we would go to, bookmarks, because every time you turned it off as a guest, it would disappear. And I know that I kind of tapped into Mr. Schaefer last year. He helped a lot of people out.
Yeah.
But if there's a go-to person, or if we have a little Zoom meeting where somebody could have their Chromebook open and like we could work through those, I think that parents might like that before school starts and we're ready to supposed to be running.
Okay. I love that idea. Ms. Garcia, are you taking those notes, babe? Thank you. We will make sure we have some tutorials. If it's not me that runs that tutorial, even though I'm pretty tech savvy, I'll make sure that Jason provides it or that we do something district-wide. But we have a ton of YouTube tutorials that I should be probably looping into my newsletters, which is a great reminder. So Amanda and Sequoia, thank you so much for that. Because I was not aware that that was happening. Ada, is that you? Am I saying it right, sweetheart?
Yeah, I'm on my mom's account. Hello. I have a question. Who are gonna be the 5th grade teachers?
Ooh, good question, baby cakes. Okay, our 5th grade teachers.
I know them in Miss Jasmine's.
So you already know?
Yeah, but like, who's gonna be the other ones?
So we have Miss Laurie is going to be our other 5th grade teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good question to ask. That was good. That was great. Do you have another question? Or should I grab some more from some others?
Well,
good. Well, you can ask another one if you have one later. Is that cool?
And my name is Melanie. Hello.
Hi, Melanie. It's good to meet you, sweetheart. I love it. I love that our babies are participating and ready. I love it, love it. Thank you, Melanie. It was good to meet you, sweetheart.
You too.
Who else has a question? Let me go back to the chat. Anybody
Hi,
else?
Miss Watson.
Hi.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Do we know when we will be assigned our teacher?
Oh, good question. I meant to put that in my presentation and I forgot. So great question. On, or maybe I think I did. On the 31st, our teachers are returning, and that first week of September, they will be making a personal phone call with all the glitter and the drum rolls to introduce you to who they are and that they're your child's teacher. They might do a newsletter. They're doing virtual classrooms. They're doing Bitmojis. They've got all this really cool interactive stuff. So you will be finding out, Miss Judy, the first week of September.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I know that it's a tad, I'm not sure what has happened in previous years. As I said earlier, I have been just moving with a bit of prudence to make sure that I've got the lists accurate, to make sure that everything is enrolled in Synergy. Ms. Garcia and myself are both freshly new to the district and to Prescott. And so that learning curve has been steep, but we have been mounting it every single day. And so I will make sure to communicate that in my next coming up newsletter, that you'll receive your teacher assignments the first week of September.
Okay, and then the other one, and I noticed a lot of other parents were having issues on Parent View.
Okay.
So I went into register and it wasn't letting me re-register Amaya, so I just added her as a new student. Is that gonna cause an issue?
I don't believe so, because even though she'll look like a new student in the system, once they attempt to register her, all of her information will pop up. But Ms. Garcia is our new resident expert, and she has some 411.
Really quick to that question, when you sign up a kid, they come up as a duplicate, so we can just merge them as one. So no, it won't give us trouble.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, Judy.
See you guys. Hi, Sierra.
Any other questions that you have? Let me go back to the chat.
I have a question. Hi, I have a question.
Hello.
So if you have a student with an IEP plan, who should we contact for extra support?
So there should already be an IEP that is already in place. And that IEP is going to be mandated by the state. So we've got our SPED team, which is Miss Jody Ippolito, who is working a little bit with her team to build what that time will look like from 1 to 2:30. She still will have her team. They still will be pushing into classrooms, meeting with kiddos during that synchronous time of learning between 9 and 9. They'll still be able to engage. They'll still have breakout rooms. They'll still have their sessions together. But you will most likely be getting some communication from Jody about what that will look like. Car drove by. As the year starts and gets started. Ms. Garcia, will you write that question down for me just so that I can circle back with our SPED team? Thank you so much. Great question. Such a good question. All of our services are so important as we meet our kiddos where they are. And y'all, we are building it while we're in it. So it's not gonna look like we're used to seeing it. And that is gonna be hard for us adults. Change is just difficult. And we just like doing the things we do because we've always done them that way. But this gives us an opportunity to meet our babies where they are. And really we get to lean into some equity, some gender equity and some racial equity. We get to lean in ways that we haven't ever before. Just the idea that every child has technology. I mean, before March, that was not the case. That should blow our minds, that not everyone had access. Not everyone had an opportunity to be able to sift the net and be able to pull up something and look and have that expertise right at their fingertips. So just the fact that we've managed to give Chromebooks or technology to our babies and Wi-Fi, the fact that our elders had been able to shop in stores before the opening hours meant that we cared about each other in some different ways. And so these are just those silver linings that this pandemic brings to bear. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. It doesn't mean that we haven't experienced some extreme loss, but it does mean that we might be able to find some silver linings if we look Hard enough. How do you get an activation key for Parent View? Ms. Garcia, if you will take that question, that was from Ms. Marika, who asked that question. I do believe it comes when you're registered and when you're done, but let us double check that so that we can make sure you all have your activation keys. We have backpacks that we've been donated. I've been trying to round up using some of my connections in the community to get some more backpacks. Not that our kiddos are gonna need them to go anywhere, but it is really cool to be able to have all of their materials in one space. So we've got about 100 and, how many did you say, Ms. Garcia, did we have? About 150?
108.
Oh, 108. I added that extra 42 things on there. So we have about 108 backpacks, but I'm trying to round up a few extra just so that they have something festive when they come to the school to pick them up. So we're working on that. But no, I don't know who donated those backpacks. Someone asked a private question about, did a specific organization help with our backpacks? But I don't believe so, but maybe if that's something that they are providing, we can maybe reach out to them and get some extra backpacks for our babies. That'd be great. Any other questions? We have about a couple of more minutes. I don't see, oh, how do you make a donation to the food pantry or the clothing pantry? Miss Michelle is on campus pretty much all the time now. Starting the 31st, she'll definitely be there, but you are more than welcome to drop off your donations. Let's not go bananas, pun intended, because it'll just be me and Miss Garcia there. But I won't turn away a donation. I won't do that. If you have something that you would like to gift our community, I think we can figure out a way of getting you on campus, social distance. Please just wear your mask, and I'll have some hand sanitizer, and you can ring the doorbell, and we can move that to the patio side. We are extremely busy in the office. I cannot stress how intense it is every single day trying to get us ready. So if you could do your best to, if it's not something you urgently need, let's keep our social distancing where we need them to be. But if you need something, we are yours. Feel free to do what you need to do, but email us, call us, give us that space to be able to know that you're coming. But if you have a donation, Ms. Sequoia might also be able to help field some of that. I'm just adding stuff to her plate. I am. Just adding.
Well, I actually wanted to mention something if I could jump in.
Sure.
I forgot an exciting thing. I know that the parent group and Miss Michelle Braxton from Sun are joining forces to do like a clothing drive. Many of us have uniforms that we are not using this year. In case that's one of the questions that people may have been wondering, you do not need to make your kid get their polo shirt on to sit at the kitchen table. So no uniforms this year, but even, am I correct that, Ms. Watson, that should we return to school and when we return, uniforms would not be part of that conversation at that time this year? Okay.
Don't have to worry about uniform. Uniform is showing up with clothes on. Just
keep the bar high. So if anybody has, again, these are very good clothes that you may have bought in advance, or you had older kids, or you've been gearing up like I have, you will hear some information from Ms. Braxton. We're going to do a clothing drive at the same time you do food pantry. So you'll get some dates. You can drop off your clothing. Everybody's been doing a lot of deep cleaning closets and stuff. So please know if you have a box set aside, we can keep in our community and be on the lookout for that communication.
They say if you build it, they will come. And that is perfect. Ms. Sequoia, thank you so much. Sita, did you have a question? I see you. Go right ahead. Or not.
Sorry. Sorry about that. Hi. So nice to meet you, by the way.
Hi, sweetheart.
I was just curious. I don't think I typed it very well, but what about like if your child was in line for some like intervention for reading or anything like that? Do you know, is Miss Ugart there? Is anyone gonna reach out or? Yeah.
Absolutely. I can let Miss Radosi answer if she wants to.
I'm sorry, I said the wrong person.
No, that's okay.
I see. Okay. Yes, interventions will happen.
Yeah.
Interventions. Title I will be doing push and support to help teachers of small groups in K1 and 2, so they'll have extra support there. Plus intervention blocks are all in the afternoon for K through 5. They happen between 1 and 2:30. Intervention will happen.
Mr. Dosey, thank you so much. Sita, great question. We have about 2 minutes because I really want to make sure that our Spanish-speaking families get
Sí, yo entiendo.
You have another question? Okay.
No, I'm good.
Thanks,
Oh,
Sita.
yeah.
Free to email me. I'm gonna drop my information into the chat, but I want to answer Harmony's question about will there be lunch menus provided or posted. That question I need to wait until Monday to ask our nutrition services staff, but they've already reached out via email and said they feed the principal. So listen, they're already on my good side, y'all. If you feed it, I will eat it, okay? So the fact that they're gonna make sure that I get nourishment means I can ask a really simple question about where will our menus be posted? So that's a great question for Ms. Garcia to write down. How do I sign my son up for Sun or Champions? Ms. Sierra, did you drop the information into the chat? So if you can scroll up, Ms. Sierra, do you mind dropping it real current so that it's at the bottom of the chat? That'd be really, really great. Is Sun providing after school activities? Yes, their calendar will be released in October so that you'll know exactly what they are providing. I see that. Oh, thank you, Amanda, for your information. Let me copy that really quick. Got it? Okay, I have reached the bottom of my chat. First grade teachers, I should have done our new, introduced our new staff. We have 2 first grade teachers that are new this year. We have Miss Bayer and Miss Miranda, who are gonna teach alongside Miss Jamie Fisher in our first grade classroom. We have Miss Ruchi Shaw, who's going to join Mr. Marsh in 3rd grade. And we have Miss Jasmine, who is going to be joining Miss Lori in 5th grade. She is a returning darling to Prescott, did her student teaching. There was a student there herself, was a student teacher there, was also an EA there along with her mother, Miss Lowe, Alicia Lowe, who is one of our EAs, and is now back as a teacher. When we talk about growing our own, when we talk about creating a pipeline that is rich so that we get to have and keep and develop teachers of color, this is what that looks like in real time. I am so grateful to be with you tonight. I know our time was short, but if you like this, maybe we could do this some more because I am yours and I would love to be able to be with you as close as possible with our masks on. So Zoom helps make that possible. I want to give a shout out to Sarah Lamb Christensen, who is one of our incredible TOSAs and newly role in the district. She has made sure that we've got Clever, we've got Seesaw, our iReady, right, reading and math is together, Reach for Reading is together. We've got Zoom, we've got Google Meets and Google Classrooms. This is an intense time and we have experts who are making sure that at our fingertips, we got the best tools possible. And I just want to thank her. She has answered all of my questions and let me bend her ear for several things. And I get to have some of her babies. And I love that. I know you'll have a ton of extra questions. I do believe that my information has been placed in the chat. I'm going to drop it one last time. And I am not going to be one of those principals that doesn't respond, although it might take me a couple weeks. If that is the case, don't feel ashamed to re-forward your message and put it at the top of my window box because it just means that I am extremely slammed. But you are important to me. Your voice is important to me. Your presence on our campus is valuable to me and to our children. And so I thank you for trusting us with your babies. They are in good hands, I promise. Thank you all so much tonight. Have a good rest of your week, and we will see you September 9th, and we will see you September 14th for the first day of school. Good night, everyone. Oh, bye, babies. Oh, my goodness.
Hello, goodbye.
Goodbye, sweetheart. I will make sure the video is posted, I promise. Thank you for the reminder to record. Good night, everyone. Liz, I'm gonna pop over to the other one. I'll meet you over there.